Hello and welcome back. Last time we left off with just the base install of Spacewalk server. So again, this is just a minimal install of CentOS 6.5 with Spacewalk 2.1 installed on top of it. There's been no channel set up. There's been no TFTP, no booting up without Pixie boot and stuff like that on there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create a channel, and then I'm going to try to go through and show you the different information that you can get from it. And then from there you can build other channels, you can build extra packages and stuff like that. So initially we're just going to do the plain 6.5 OS channel. So we need to log in with the user account that we created from the last video. And once you're logged in, it'll be you can see there's nothing there. So next thing we need to do is we need to go to channels. From channels, we need to go to manage software channels. And then inside of there, we need to say create new channel. That's located up in the kind of the upper right. And here there'll be a whole bunch of information that you can fill in or that you'll need to fill in. I like to give it a pretty good name, but it doesn't have to be, you know, too crazy. Channel name can have spaces and stuff like that. The actual channel label, I would recommend not having spaces. So what we'll do here is we'll give it a channel name. And then channel label, like I said, this will just be all one nice with hyphens, no spaces. Parent channel, it's going to be the parent, so we don't need to worry about that. Architecture is actually going to be the x86_64. Yum-Raz protects some SHA-1, that's fine. Little channel summary we can put in there. And you can add a description if you'd like. Maintainer, if you're a very large organization, you put your maintainer information, email address, phone number, support policy. You have your channel access control. Here we're going to say all users within the organization, but you can set up to specific organizations if you have multiple organizations within your spacewalk. You can say that it's private, protected, or public. We're going to keep it private. One thing that is kind of important, I don't know all the repercussions of not doing this, but I like to put this information in there anyways. Basically, there's the GPG key URL, your GPG key, which is your last, what they call 64 bits of your fingerprint from the GPG key. What I'll do is I'm going to flip back to the SSH setting and show you how you can find out that information. It's a pretty easy command. So I'm going to flip over that real quick. Basically, this is the Spacewalk server from command line. If you look, you see the path is etc pki rpm gpg. Do a quick list here. We can see we've got the CentOS 6.0, the debug, the security testing, and then the EPEL. Then all you need to do here is just run a GPG command, GPG command with the fingerprint of what file you want to do. So right now we actually want to look at the CentOS 6. And you say with fingerprint, hit enter, and here we can see that there's the key fingerprint, which is that very long line, and then you also have the last, it would be last 8 characters. Those last 8 characters are actually going to be the fingerprint for that. So we'll get the URL first. There's the URL. The GPG key ID, which I mentioned to you is really the last 8 spots on that key, which from our key here. See, it's this right here. Let's copy that and we'll paste that here. And we'll get rid of the space. DE. And then our fingerprint, which is going to be the whole thing. Paste that here. And now we'll create channel. and now it says that the channel's been created. So that's a good sign. We can go back to the channels again up top, and we can see that here's our base. No packages have been defined because we haven't done a repo or a sync yet. So what we're going to do now is, now that we got the base channel, we're going to actually add a repo, and from that repo we'll sync, and then we'll get the total number of packages and stuff like that will show up on there. Um, let's do that real quick. Here we do manage software channels again, but this time we go into manage repositories. And then once again, we have none here since it's a brand new. We'll say create new. And I like to usually keep these pretty similar. When I say that is, I mean, I kind of keep the names pretty much the same. So what we'll do here is repository label will be the CentOS 6.5 base. Repository URL is actually the location of where those files are. You can usually find that off from the CentOS website or any other website that you can find. You can also actually push packages from a CD or DVD if you want to as well. But that doesn't really work with the syncing side of it, because I mean it's kind of hard to sync once it's up there. So we'll use the URL here. And these other things we don't really need to worry about. And create repository. Now the repository has been created successfully. Next thing we want to do is go back to the software channels. Here's our base. And you got your manage repositories. So now we go to repositories. And from there we select the base. And then say update repositories. And then from that point on, now we've got the actual channel created. We've got the repository linked to it. So now all we need to do is sync. Now you can sync from here. Say sync now, and it should kick off. One thing I'd like to do is sometimes you actually run it from the command line, and then from there you can actually see what packages are being done. So I'm going to be bringing up the SSH again to that box. In here it's basically just a Spacewalk repo sync. And then you actually have to give it the name of your repo list, which was CentOS 6.5 base. Right before that, we need to say the channel. Hit enter. And it's going out to that actual URL. It's going to that mirror sentence that we put in there. It tells us how many packages are total. And then from there on, it'll start going out and pulling those packages in. And once it finishes, it'll tell the total number here inside of our channel. Where it says packages, it'll actually show us the total number of packages once that finishes. So this is going to take a while. I'm not going to sit here and have the whole thing, but once it finishes up, I'll show you once it's finished up, and then we can go back into the channel and you can see them all there. But as you can see, it's going right along, and we've got 19 of 6,367, and everything seems to be moving along smoothly. And once this finishes, I'll wrap this part up for this part of the channel stuff, and then we'll go into some more information about the different things that you can do as well. Like I mentioned, the kickstarts, the bare metal, TFTP, all the different things. But this is just an example of a single channel, and you can do multiple channels. You can do 5.8 if you want, or older ones and stuff like that. And if I have more time, I'll get into the more details about that. But for this part of it, I'll wait till this finishes, and then I'll come back online, and then we'll finish this part of this video for channels. Okay, we're almost finishing up the download of the base 6.5 CentOS OS. We're in the 6,307 out of 6,367 packages. Once this finishes up, it should do a sync if there's any differences and stuff like that, which this is the first time we've installed it, so it'll actually add all 6,000 packages to the base channel. Once this finishes, I'll switch back to the web GUI that's behind it, and we'll see those packages show up underneath there. Okay, currently it's linking the package to the channel. And the sync is complete. So now if we go back to the web user interface, we should be able to see the packages. We might have to refresh it, but right here it says 0, but click into it. Now we can see there's 6,365. If we go back, it should show it as well. There's all the packages for that. So there's our base channel.